Man, I already missed a stripped down car that was on the side of the road. And I missed an accident too. I'm always missing the good shit. See what Trump's talking about. Trump accepts Putin's rare offer live.
It's a very expensive thing, actually. Personally, I looked at the numbers and I said, no. But you have to save Lake Michigan because these fish, they eat everything in the way, including the other fish. They eat everything.
Oh, it was about the Lake Michigan fish again.
I think it's
Oh, hell now, Walmart gonna regret that. Y'all, they just fired me for policy violations. Oh, they must be tripping. Let me fill y'all in on a secret. They fired me because I've been telling seniors about this free grocery hack. I've been using it every single month to get free groceries.
Oh, this
I
is
get
comical.
$3,400 to spend on my groceries, meats, fruits, veggies,
Yeah,
and
Walmart
everything
fired
else I
you
need.
because of
And because they fired
This
me,
is an AI video. God damn, that AI is getting good. That's not even a real person, I guarantee you. That's scary how real that AI is getting. Oh, hey, look. To the intersection. That was either from Cinco de Mayo night, or that was from other night. Saturday night. Or Sunday night. I didn't go to, I don't know about Sundays. Yes.
We've got great news for seniors. The Social Security Administration has made us.
I skipped that last commercial. It was too funny though. Walmart fired me for. Shut up. It's Walmart didn't fire you for that. You're an AI generated person. You're not even real. You're fucking AI. Yeah, let's see what we got on here. Oh, Andrew, this is a funny one. Andrew Tate turns Beavis and Butthead.
Usually a top G like myself would never associate with some brokies like you guys. But I saw you in some kick-ass videos on Common Sense News, and I decided to stop by and help you level up in life. I see some potential in you.
Wow, Andrew. Thanks. We had a crap contract back in the day, so we're broke again, and no more chicks.
Yeah! Can you help us score with some chicks, man?
Beavis, it's not about scoring with them, it's about owning them, mentally and physically.
Wow, dude. I've never owned a chick before.
Maybe, but you did rent a hooker in Vegas in '95 when we had some cash.
Whatever, Blood Munch. Don't forget, you were the king of the happy ending massages back then, bucko.
Don't remind me. I can go for one right now.
Fellas, you don't pay for women. The only time you pay them is for them to leave. Do you understand?
I guess, but that's easy for you to say.
You're jacked and you're rich, bro.
Well, I wasn't born this way. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you did a push-up?
I don't really work out much, Andrew.
The only thing you've been pushing up is your pecker when you choke the chicken, you little pervert.
So that's why those socks on your room floor are like concrete.
Shut your trap, turd nugget.
And what the hell were you laughing at, butthole?
It's butt. Head.
Butthole, butthead, whatever. When is the last time you scored with a woman?
It's been a while. I couldn't even tell you.
I smash 2 baddies before breakfast, 6 days a week. And on the 7th, it's 3. Usually a top G like myself would never...
and we look forward to that. But that's really been amazing. Yes.
Also announced increases in tariffs today. Why not treat?
Make sure you like, subscribe, share.
They didn't put them in. No, they.
Wow, look at that tree.
Which our expectation is it's going to be later still.
I'm glad that they held
Said you were watching the market.
If this was the strategy all along to bring them to the table,
Trees are
why
getting
didn't you
released.
instruct or advise, or maybe they did it on their own, some of your top aides to say this is not a negotiation, to hold the line, that they were going to hold the line, that you were not going to change
A
the
lot of
line.
times it's not a negotiation until it is. And that happens. And, you know, I said outside that you have to have flexibility to do it right, and that's what we have. We brought everybody to the table, and it may not be a negotiation, it may not last. I mean, you know, things may be asked that I think are not fair to us. Look, we've been ripped off by essentially everybody for 35 years. This is not just a new thing. And Roger Penske just left. He's a great gentleman, great man, actually. And he said no other president would have had the guts to do this, and I believe that's right.
No, I don't think we've ever had a president with the guts to do what Trump's
I started
doing.
it with China. I took in hundreds
I would have
of
threw in
billions
the
of dollars
towel
in
after
tariffs
they
and
charged me
taxes
with
from China
87
in my
felonies.
personal
I said, no, I'm done. You guys win.
greatest ever in the history of our
I
country.
give up.
Country.
Hey, they finally fixed that pothole.
But it
About
had to be done.
time.
It was something that had to be done.
Mr. President,
Now we should all do a class action
which
lawsuit against the
countries
city.
will be negotiating first? You have any, because for example, Brazil and the UK, they do not have deficits with the US. They have a surplus. They do not have a surplus. They have deficits with the US.
Someone got a
what is the
class action
criteria?
lawsuit
And
going for that
also,
pothole. Hit me
would you
up.
consider talking or meeting with Xi
I'm
Jinping?
broke as hell. I need money.
He's a friend of mine. I like him.
I gotta beg at gas stations for money to get gas to get from point A to point B.
If you know that country, I choose to agree with him. On the other countries, we have Japan is here. South
Then I gotta
Korea is
go
here.
back outside
Others are
McDonald's
here.
for food.
And we're trying to see what's, from what I hear, it's much more than 75. I said 75 plus. So it's, everybody wants to make a deal, actually. And we want to do what's right for our country. We also want to do what's right for the world. The world is important. It's the world, right? And I think we're going to make a lot of people very happy. And I think investing in the United States of America will be the greatest investment that anybody's ever made. I will be, because we want them coming back. You know, we realized during COVID that we don't make our drugs and our pharmaceuticals in this country. So I realized that.
That's
And
crazy.
it was a big realization. We had to go to China to get drugs. We had to go
That's
to
fucked
other
up.
places.
Why don't we make it here?
But we had to go to other places. We don't make it.
Why?
That's because we let.
Oh, because of Bill Clinton's free trade agreement.
Come back, we're gonna put tariffs on the pharmaceutical companies, and they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back. I'm not gonna pay them any money like Biden with the chip deal. The chip deal was a big one. They give billions and billions of dollars to chip companies. All they have is money. They have so much money.
What's
And
going
they
on
give
up here?
billions of dollars, and they're just gonna keep the money. They're not gonna spend it.
Broken down car.
And the only thing that's going to
accident.
bring them back is you say we have a barrier. You have to pay 50% or 100% or 200%. And if they have to pay that, they're going to say, we're not going to pay that. We're going to build here. And that's what happened. We're the biggest, most prestigious chip company in the world, spending $200 to $300 billion.
Through HIMSS, hundreds of thousands of guys are finding doctor-trusted treatment for their ED. In fact,
Another broken down car. I got a flat.
They get their zoning very quickly. They have everything done in a matter of months.
Thank you, sir. You procured a record amount of private sector investments since your election, $7 trillion. You talked about the importance of all that.
Secretary of State Police on the left.
The positive impact on families who felt the previous economy left them behind, and why your executive orders on coal yesterday is so important given the amount of manufacturing.
Thank you. And, which is correct. We have, I would say, more than $7 trillion of investment coming in. Apple is coming in for $500 billion. We have other companies coming in with massive numbers. We have car companies that are coming in. We've never seen anything like it. Maybe in the 1940s or 50s or something, but we've never seen
Fuck
anything
them
like
other
it. They had,
car companies.
three
Make
plants
General
canceled in
Motors
Mexico.
great again.
Not that we want to hurt Mexico, but we're
And
for
Chevy.
us. And that's what my job is. It's not
Bring
to
back
take
the
care of other
Chevelle,
countries,
bring
but
back
I
the
wanna-
Camaro.
I want to help other countries as much as I can,
Bring
but we have
back
to take care
Pontiac.
of America first. And it's about America first. So we have many, many companies coming in that would have never come in if we didn't win the election and then
Yeah, true.
put the tariffs on. And they're coming in because when they build in the United States, there are no tariffs. You don't have to pay any tariffs. So instead of paying 30, 40, 50% or 25%, but it could go a lot higher in some of the industries. So we have steel mills right now that are raging. The steel industry is gone. If I didn't put the tariffs on steel, because China was dumping massive amounts of steel in my first term, and I put tariffs on it.
Yeah,
I saved the steel
sure.
industry, but now it's going to thrive. Maybe like never before. I mean, if you go back to U.S. Steel from 90 years
Oh,
ago,
yeah.
it's incredible. It's the #1 company in the world.
Side note, see that big silo there? That big tall silo? I need a grappling hook. I want to get to the roof. I want to get all the way to the top. But the bottom floor is collapsed, the staircase. And there's no way to like get. I mean, there is a way, but I just don't. I don't got enough upper body strength to just pull myself up by my arms. But if I had a grappling hook with a rope on it and a rope ladder, I could get to the top. I gotta get a grappling hook with a rope and a ladder. A rope ladder, not just any ladder, a rope ladder. One day I'll get that grappling hook and get up to the top of there.
And that's why we
One
don't
day
want to
this
see it go
summer.
to Japan. And we love Japan, but we,
And we'll do a
US
live
Steel is
stream from the
a
top
very
floor.
special company. We don't want it to go
Well,
to
that's cool,
Japan.
that thing was
or
upright.
any other.
Never know.
So we're working with them, and I don't know if they need any money now. I'll be honest with you, they hit gold. They hit gold because if you look at it, they have such orders for steel now. It's incredible. What's going on in our country is incredible with respect to plants. So we lost 90,000 plants and factories from the beginning of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made in the history of this world. And certainly in the history of trade. There's never been a worse trade deal. We were able to cancel that. We had to get approval from Congress. It was like a disastrous curse because you had to go to Congress to get it terminated. You couldn't just
Oh
terminate
yeah,
it.
Trump, keep getting them gas prices
People in
down.
Congress that didn't want to do it because they had other reasons, maybe bad reasons. They're mostly not there anymore, those people. But it's amazing what's happened. I appreciate that question because it's incredible. I don't think we've ever seen anything like it.
What the
$7
fuck
trillion
kind of street
is much
cleaner
more
was
than
that? Did you
because
see that
these
thing?
are places that we know. $7 trillion is unheard of. I
Oh
never
my
looked at the
God,
Biden
that's a
numbers,
bad
but
pothole. Did
you
you see
could go
why
a
we
whole
just
year.
fell in?
And it was peanuts. Everybody was leaving. They weren't coming in. They were leaving, and that means jobs are leaving. And so we're not playing games. We're going to make this country greater than ever before. Thank you for that question.
Mr. President, it seems like China's made some. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. For the past few days, we've heard from this administration no pause. Was this idea of doing a pause, did that just come about this morning? Can you tell us exactly what came into consideration for you and your advisors?
For a period of time, I wouldn't say this morning. Over the last few days, I've been thinking about it. I've been dealing with Scott, with Howard, with some other people that are very professional. And I think it probably came together early this morning, fairly early this morning. Just wrote it up. We didn't have the use of, we didn't have access to lawyers, or we just wrote it up from our hearts, right? It was written from the heart. And I think it was well written too, but it was written from the heart. It was written as something that I think was very positive for the world and for us. And we don't want to hurt countries that don't need to be hurt. And they all want to negotiate. the only problem is, you know, you can only do so many at one time. It's like, we want to do it right. We want to get it right. We want to take care of them, but we have to take care of our country. So, but this was something certainly we've been talking about for a period of time, and we decided to pull the trigger. And we did it today, and we're happy about it. I didn't know it would have that kind of an impact, but it's, you know, you have the biggest increase in the history of the stock market. That's pretty good. That's pretty, you're almost, you know, if you keep going, you're going to be back to where it was 4 weeks ago. But it was a sick market 4 weeks ago, you know, because the trade was sick. It was only a question of time. I don't blame the tariffs. I think the tariffs just sort of magnified what was happening. It was sick. Biden allowed these people to get away with murder. Biden allowed China to just take advantage of us. We had like $1 trillion deficit with China, $1 trillion deficit. So that was going to only be a matter of time. I think the tariffs brought it out faster, and they magnified the problem.
Today you and tomorrow you aren't the same person. If you're tired of what today you is doing, get it.
You're not advertising for me, pills. I'm sure they're selling some type of pill here. Skip. Let me skip you out. Who's this guy? He looks like Antifa.
Word is, search Alan Walker on TikTok.
Tell me that guy don't look like
Right now.
Antifa. He looks like an Antifa TikToker. Fuck.
And I don't blame China for what happened.
I can't
blame
wait
the
to
people
drive
sitting
through
around
this fucking
desk.
tunnel in my
Right behind this
Camaro.
desk
Oh
or
my
another
god.
desk. You get
Just
the
floor it.
choice of saying.
That
And
badass
pick the
video.
resolute. But I blame the people sitting behind
I got a
in this
3-inch
chair
exhaust
behind
on
this desk for being stupid, incompetent, or not having courage. This should have been done years ago. This should have been done
long, badass
before
tunnel.
Obama, in all fairness. Not only
I
Biden.
can't wait to drive my Camaro through this tunnel. It's gonna sound so badass.
World Trade Organization, which was owned by China. It was owned and paid
That's
for
gonna be
by
fun
China.
driving my Camaro through
They didn't
here.
even have to do things. They
Floor
considered
it the
them
whole way through.
a nation that
Doing
was
late at night when no one's out.
undeveloped. They said they were a developing nation.
2
We're a
a.m.,
developing
3
nation too,
a.m.
if you think about it. Look at our inner cities. Look at what's happened.
Yeah, look what Brandon's
Starting
doing
from
to our city
zero
with all
there,
these
right?
fucking
So we're a
potholes
developing
everywhere.
nation, too.
Giving all
No,
this
I don't-
money
I
to the
don't-
migrants, putting the
I
city
know
of
it's,
Chicago
a lot
in
of
debt,
people
trying to
take
turn it
heat for
into
saying this.
Detroit.
I blame the people sitting at this desk more than I blame China. If China can get away with what they got away with taking hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars
COVID.
right out of our pocket, because our people here were stupid. They were stupid people. Maybe
Yes, they
corrupt.
were.
I don't know. How
Are
do
they
you get that
corrupt?
stupid? How do you get to be president and you're stupid? But they certainly weren't courageous. And they allowed this to happen.
That's a good
We
point.
took
How do you get to
advantage
be
of it.
president and you're stupid?
They took advantage of it. We had
Because of rigged
deficits with
election, that's
almost
all.
every country. I used to read these things. The first time I'd read them, I'd actually read the agreements. I'd say, how could anybody agree to this stuff? So certainly they were rough, and they were tough, and they were
72
smart.
out.
And you can blame them, but I really blame the people that allowed them to do it, because you know, if you could read first grade and you could read these agreements, you'd say, these are terrible deals. I actually used to say, who would allow deals like this to be made for our country? And maybe it's people that didn't care. Maybe it's people that weren't courageous. It's people that were corrupt. I don't know. But I blame those people more than I blame anybody
What's up,
else.
Shivity? How you doing?
You've been very specific in saying that you would like the EU to purchase U.S. energy. Is there something specific that you would like China to do?
Well, you'll be hearing about that. Yeah, there are a lot of things I'd like China to do. There are a lot of things that I want China to do, and I'll be telling China what that is.
Oh, what did Shivity say?
I'm not telling China.
Oh, I'm glad you're doing good,
You
Shivity.
said the other day that if they do not
I'm
agree
pissed.
to
That's
a
how I'm
potential
doing. I'm
nuclear deal,
pissed.
that it would be very dangerous for them. What
Yeah.
specifically
Well, they
did you
can't have a
mean?
nuclear war.
Did you mean military action though if they don't agree?
Come lied
Oh,
to
if
me.
necessary?
Get my fucking-
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you have
Do you have a deadline for these
Yeah,
talks?
I do.
and
You're talking about with Iran?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Do you want something definitive this weekend, or do you see this as the start of a process?
It's a start.
Do you have a timeline?
We have a little time, but we don't have much time, because we're not going to let them have a nuclear weapon. Can't let them have a nuclear weapon. and we're going to let them thrive. I want them to thrive. I want Iran to be great. The only thing they can't have is a nuclear weapon. They understand that. You know, the people are so incredible in Iran, and they're so smart. They're very smart people. But, you know, they're in a rough situation, rough regime. But they understand, and the leaders understand. And I'm not asking for much. They can't have a nuclear weapon, and I've said that. And I was a little bit surprised because when the election was rigged, I figured they'd get the weapon because with me they were broke. They were broke. They had no money.
Yes, they
Because
were.
of the sanctions. Nobody could buy oil. We did that to Venezuela just recently. And we'll do
Good,
other
because they got
countries
dirty,
like that.
nasty oil in Venezuela.
I want to see Russia and Ukraine.
I don't know why Joe Biden wanted Venezuela's dirty, nasty oil so bad. Supposedly, I fucking heard too that a lot of them Venezuelans, besides not the ones that, including the ones they let out of prison, but it had something to do with the oil too. But they have very nasty, disgusting oil that takes a lot of refining. It's dirty oil. Like you got to be stupid to want their oil. When we got our own oil, that's better than that, and more of it than Saudi Arabia and the surrounding countries combined in the Rocky Mountains. It's insane. We need to get that oil.
Make a deal.
And we need to finish our Keystone Pipeline.
Like I'm hearing about. I hope we're going to make a deal with Russia and Ukraine. But with Iran, if it requires military, we're going to have military. Israel will obviously be very much involved in that. Be the leader of that. But nobody leads us. We do what we want to do.
When would the talks run out on the talks? When would the talks need to conclude before you might do military?
I can't really be specific, but when you start talks, if they're going along well or not. And I would say the conclusion would be when I think they're not going along well. So that's just a feeling.
Mr. President, on the subject of U.S. troops stationed in Europe, do you have any plans to reduce the number of U.S. troops in Europe or in other nations?
I didn't even know we have troops still in Iraq.
We pay for military over in Europe. We don't get reimbursed
Why?
that much. South Korea too.
Why are we paying for our fucking military? I understand South Korea, we should have our military there. But why the fuck are we paying for our military in Europe?
Up in one package for each country.
To protect
It's nice and
them.
clean.
Let them protect themselves.
Pay attention if you want free bros.
Oh, shut up with your scam ass shit.
Their legal time will be, if we can do it, I think we can do it, using these great law
You
firms to
can
represent
do
us
it!
with regard to the many, many countries that we'll be dealing with. We'll have good lawyers representing us, but we want to have good lawyers, and these are the best, considered the best lawyers, considered the best in the world. I don't know. They just went off a little bit.
Mr. President, two questions. On Iran, you have an update on who will be participating or conducting these conversations? We thought to be there on Saturday for these direct talks. And on China, some economists are saying that right now is technically embargo on China with 125% tariffs. Are you concerned of escalation beyond the trade war with China?
No, I'm not concerned. I think President Xi is a very smart guy. I think we've been treated so badly for so many years. Again,
Yes, we have.
we allowed that to happen.
Yes,
We've
we
been treated
did.
so badly for so many
Because
years.
of stupid leaders like Bill Clinton,
I think President Xi is one
who
of the very
created
smart
this
people
entire
in the
mess
world.
with the free trade
And I don't
agreement.
think he will allow that to happen. And we're very powerful. This country's very powerful.
I want to get one of those CTS-5. I like those CTS.
We have
Or a
weaponry
Dodge
that
Charger or
nobody has any
Challenger.
idea what it
I wouldn't
is.
mind
We
getting
just
one of
have the
those
most
one
powerful
day.
weapons in the world that we have. More powerful than anybody not even close.
Only problem is,
So nobody's
damn near
gonna-
80% of them out on the road have been drifted, like in this intersection right here.
Just
You
in
can see
terms
the
of
drift
basic
mark.
escalation, which is what you said.
And they've been beat
No,
to
I
shit.
think that
Cheap one.
a man
You've
who
been
knows
paying a
exactly
shitload
what
of money
has to
for
be
one
done.
that hasn't been beat to
He's a
shit.
very
Especially
smart
right
man.
now. You
He's
should have bought it
very
before
fair.
Trump was
I know him very
president.
well.
That's what
And
I
I think
did.
he's going to want to get to a deal. I think that's going to happen. We'll get a
But he
phone
had to
call
buy
at
the
some
cars
point, and
before he got in, because now the car
Maybe
values
off
went
to
up.
the
And now,
races. It'll be a great
if
thing
you
for
bought a
them.
car, before Trump got elected, your car is worth like $10,000 more right now, depending on what kind of car you got. 10 to 5.
At some point, we'll have to see. I mean, we have to get there right now. We got to get there. In the meantime, they're losing 2,500 on average young people every single week. Think of it. 2,500 people a week. It's not even conceivable. We got to get there fast. Take a couple more. Yes.
On China even more before they come to the table, or do you
I can't imagine it. No, I can't imagine it. I don't think I'll have to do it. I don't think we'll have to do it more. We calculated it very carefully. By the way, when you hear 100, a lot of people charge much more than that. Canada charges much more than that to our
There's the United Center, by the way.
Many people charge much than 100, 125 in this case. But I don't, it's still a significant number. I don't see that. Okay.
From the roof, it says United Center. You can see it from Google Earth. Don't look right now, though. It's been there forever at the corner. They remodeled it, though.
Actually see it succeed just because they are your
This used to be
policies.
total ghetto right here. It's actually
just
nice
leave the
now.
tariffs the way they are now. We just relax, right? Some people have said that. Look, again, we're making. It'll be soon much more than $2 billion a day. That's not the worst thing that I've ever heard. So some people say that, but we look at the other side too. I think as the United States, we have an obligation to look also at the other side. We want what's good for everyone. I mean, it's America first, but
All the money they spent on building this they spent like a fucking million or a trillion. I know it's a big difference, but they spent well over several million, possibly almost $1 trillion, on building this stupid ass shit. But they can't fix the motherfucking potholes. Why? Fix the fucking potholes. Oh, I know why, because they want you to fuck your car up so you're forced to take public transportation, and they want to make traffic worse by doing these stupid motherfucking bike lanes so it deters people from wanting to drive and have a car and makes more traffic.
also want to make sure there's a
It makes
world
people
that can
take these
live
little
and live
stupid
happily
scooters
with
like
all
that
of
guy's on.
So, this is the way I look. No, but there are people that say, look, where we are now.
That's part of the future of, not the Republicans, the Democrats. You will own nothing. You will have a subscription for everything. You won't own your car. You will own nothing you have, and you'll be happy with it. That's what the Democrats want to do.
I've been in worse positions in my life than making $2 billion a day plus, right?
I mean, you can see it right here
Thank you
by
very
our
much,
Democratic-run city with these stupid bike lanes.
Thank you very much.
Making traffic worse.
The markets are what?
The guy is flying on that scooter, though. I ain't gonna lie. He's going like fucking, let's see.
Thank you.
Thank you, press. Thank you.
You helped me a lot.
He's going about 20 miles per hour. Maybe 16.
And Gretchen, I think everybody knows.
No, nah,
we're working on that very
I
hard,
don't know if he slowed down.
I think we're coming
Seems like he
with
was
a
going
way
faster
to
before.
I just like we call the Secretary of Defense. Sometimes we call him the Secretary of War. It used to be called the
Going about
Secretary of War.
20, I think. Yeah, he's going about 20 miles
We
per
became
hour.
a little
Let's
bit
see.
politically correct. But I think we're in great shape. We'll be in great shape. So thank you very much.
Right now he's going
Thank you
15
very
miles
much.
per hour.
Congratulations. Great job. So we'll start with the first orders. I think we have one for
It's going about 15, I would
Does
say.
anyone know Mike Huckabee?
Yes, sir.
He's going to be a great ambassador to Israel.
Why is the guy in the scooter moving faster than me?
Yes, sir. So the Senate confirmed Governor Huckabee to be your next ambassador to Israel.
It's like from the movie Office Space where you had the little granny fucking walking on the highway with the walker, passing everyone in traffic.
President of Israel, requesting that he accept Governor Huckabee's, Ambassador Huckabee's credentials.
He's going to be fantastic. He's going to bring home the bacon. Even though bacon isn't too big in Israel.
That's just the
I
third letter.
had to clear that up. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations to Mike.
Mike Huckabee.
Next, sir, this is a big one. As you've consistently identified, restoring our maritime dominance as a nation is very important, from shipbuilding to having a merchant marine that's capable of supporting American military efforts really up and down the line. Restoring maritime dominance has been a priority of this administration. This executive order, which was prepared primarily by your National Security Council staff and National Security Advisor Walt, has a number of very significant policy steps, all aimed at restoring American maritime dominance and ensuring that we have the shipbuilding capacity and ability to compete globally, both militarily and in the civilian spaces.
And that could be a good one for Michigan too, because we're going to be spending a lot of money on shipbuilding. We're way behind. We used to build a ship a day, and now we don't do a ship a year practically, and we have the capacity to do it. So we'll talk to you about that. Okay, Matt?
That's what else I got.
It's a natural.
Defense exchange. Here, Trump and Canada. Canada guy was watching. He would be into this. Skip. No, give me that.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great honor to have.
This is the tense exchange between, what do you call it? Between the President of Canada and Trump.
That was probably the greatest thing that happened to him, but I can't take full credit. His party was losing by a lot, and he ended up winning. So I really want to congratulate him. It was probably one of the greatest comebacks in the history of politics, maybe even greater than mine. But I want to just congratulate you. That was a great election, actually. We were watching it with interest, and I think Canada chose a very talented person, a very good person.
I want to see it get heated.
Because we spoke before the election quite a few times. And it's an honor to have you at the White House and the Oval Office. And you see the new and improved Oval Office.
Yes, it is.
As it becomes more and more beautiful, with love, with great love, and 24-karat gold. That always helps too. But it's been a lot of fun going over some of the beautiful pictures that were stored in the vaults that were for many years, in some cases over 100 years. They were stored in vaults of the great presidents, or almost great presidents, all having a reason for being up, every one of them. So it's very interesting. But I just want to congratulate you, and we had a really great race. I watched the debate. I thought you were excellent, and I think we have a lot of things in common. We have some tough points to go over, and that'll be fine. But we're going to also be discussing Ukraine, Russia, the war, because Mark wants it ended as quickly as I do. I think it has to end. We had some very good news last night. The Houthis have announced that they are not. They've announced to us, at least, that they don't want to fight anymore.
Good.
They just don't want to fight, and we will honor that, and we will stop the bombings. And they have capitulated, but more importantly, we will take their word. They say they will not be blowing up ships anymore, and that's what the purpose of what we were doing. So that's just news. We just found out about that. So I think it's very positive. They were knocking out a lot of ships going, as you know, sailing beautifully down the various seas. It wasn't just the canal; it was a lot of other places. And I will accept their word, and we are going to stop the bombing of the Houthis, effective immediately. Marco, you'll let everybody know that. Okay. Do you have something to say about that? By the way, it's a pretty big announcement.
Yeah, this is probably the freedom of navigation issue. These guys, these are banned individuals with advanced weaponry that were threatening global shipping, and the job is to get that to stop. And if it's going to stop, then we can stop. And so I think it's an important development.
And we'll have maybe before we're going to the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, going to UAE, Qatar.
By the way, you can play my videos too. When you got slow parts on my video, just speed it up. So
and that'll be, I guess, Monday night. Some of you are coming with us. I think before then we're going to have a very big announcement to make, like as big as it gets. And I won't tell you on what, but it's very positive. I tell you if it was negative or positive. I can't keep that up. It is really positive. And that announcement will be made either Thursday or Friday or Monday before we leave. But it'll be one of the most important announcements that have been made in many years about a certain subject, very important subject. So you'll all be here. Mark, would you like to say a few words?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I'm on the edge of my seat, actually. But thank you for your hospitality and above all for your leadership. You're a transformational president, focused on the economy with a relentless focus on the American worker, securing your borders, ending the scourge of fentanyl and other opioids, and securing the world. And I've been elected with my colleagues here, with the help of my colleagues here. I'm going to spread the credit to transform Canada with a similar focus on the economy, securing our borders, again on fentanyl, much greater focus on defense and security, securing the Arctic and developing the Arctic. And the history of Canada and the U.S. is we're stronger when we work together, and there's many opportunities to work together. And I look forward to addressing some of those issues that we have, but also finding those areas of mutual cooperation. So
great, very nice. Thank you very much. No, it was actually very effective, and it's still very effective. But people have to follow it, so that's been a problem. People haven't followed it, but it was a transitional step a little bit, and as you know, it terminates very shortly. It gets renegotiated very shortly. But I thought it was a very positive step from NAFTA. NAFTA was the worst trade deal in the history of our country, probably in the history of the world. And this was a transitional deal, and we'll see what happens. You know, we're going to be starting to possibly renegotiate that if it's even necessary. I don't know that it's necessary anymore, but it served a very good purpose. And the biggest purpose it served is we got rid of NAFTA. NAFTA was a very unfair deal for the United States. Very, very terrible deal. It should have never been made. It was made many years ago, but it should have never been made.
And the free trade agreement.
I would love that. I have a lot of respect for this man, and I watched him come up essentially through the ranks when he wasn't given much of a chance, and he ran a really great campaign. He did a really great debate. I think the debate was very helpful. I was going to raise my hand. I don't know if that's good or bad. I shouldn't say that. That might hurt you. But no, he ran a really great election, I thought. And yeah, something could happen. Something could happen. Yeah, please. Concession? Yes. Friendship. No, we're going to be friends with Canada. Regardless of anything, we're going to be friends with Canada. Canada is a very special place to me. I know so many people that live in Canada. My parents had relatives that lived in Canada, my mother in particular. And no, I love Canada. I have a lot of respect for the Canadians. Wayne Gretzky, I mean, how good, the great one. You happen to have a very, very good hockey player right here on the Capitals, who I have a lot of. He is a big tough cookie too. Just broke the record, and he's a great guy. And you know, we had the team here, and I got to know a lot of the players. But now Canada is a very special place. Yeah, please. No. Well, I still believe that, but you know, it takes two to tango, right? But no, I do. I mean, I believe there would be a massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens. You get free military, you get tremendous medical cares and other things. There'd be a lot of advantages, but it would be a massive tax cut. And it's also a beautiful, you know, as a real estate developer, you know, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person, but when I looked at that, you know, I said that's the way it was meant to be. But you know, it's I guess I do feel it's much better for Canada. But we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. I think that there are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem. But I think it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale. That's true. We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace. You visited as well. That's true. And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. We have done that in the past, and part of that, as the president just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government's commitment for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnerip. And I'll say this as well: that the president has revitalized international security, revitalized NATO, and has played our full weight.
They should be paying.
They have. I must say, Canada is stepping up the military.
Or they should be paying us for the military.
They're stepping up, and that's a very important thing. But never say never. Never say never. Well, we'll be talking about different things. You know, we want to protect our automobile business, and so does Mark. But we want to make the automobiles, and we want to, you know, we have a tremendous abundance of energy, more than any country. We have, just in Alaska alone, Anwar has been reopened now. Anwar is probably the largest find anywhere in the world. They say it's larger than Saudi Arabia. I don't know, but it's a lot. But we have tremendous amounts of energy. Other countries are lucky in that way. They have energy, we have energy, we have more than we can ever use, and more than we can ever sell, actually, and you have the same thing. So we're two countries that are very lucky. If you look at China, they don't have that. It's a big disadvantage. Other countries, most countries don't have that. Most countries don't have that. So Canada and us, we have a lot of advantages over other places.
So you consider what Mr. Carney just said, that Canada's not for sale. Does this make the discussion a little more difficult to start on?
No, not at all. No, time will tell. It's only time. But I say never. I've had many things that were not doable, and they ended up being doable, and only doable in a very friendly way. But if it's to everybody's benefit, you know, Canada loves us, and we love Canada. That's, I think, the number one thing that's important. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. China.
Ready to lose the hat and regrow the hair? With serums by...
I got a full head of hair. Surgery. Bruce Fire? He's like, good afternoon.
They want to meet, and they're doing no business right now, and those ships are turning around in the Pacific Ocean. Big turn. Those are big ships. Those ships take about 10 miles to turn. And, you know, we lost $1 trillion to China on trade because of an incompetent president that we had who proceeded to be grossly incompetent. You're finding it out more and more now. And by not trading, we're losing nothing. So we're saving $1 trillion. It's a lot. But they want to negotiate, and they want to have a meeting, and we'll be meeting with them at the right time. I have not met with them. Of course, you would know if I met. I'd tell you that they want to meet. But, you know, we are right now. Look, they're suffering greatly. Their economy is suffering greatly because they're not doing trade with the U.S. And they made most of their money off the U.S. Don't kid yourself. They don't make the money off other countries like this. And we had a trade imbalance. We had a deficit, or they had a surplus. Another way of saying it, of more than $1 trillion. Think of it, more than $1 trillion. And because of 145%, that's the only reason. But because of they have now 145% there, there's no trading. You can't trade with 145%. We are making, in a certain way, I guess, $1.1 trillion. In other words, we're not losing $1.1 trillion. Our deficit is much better. When I started, I said we were losing billions of dollars a day on trade. That's rapidly turning around. We looked at numbers this morning. So we were losing, the United States during Biden was losing more than
I won't even give you numbers because they're so embarrassing, but billions of dollars a day on trade. Those numbers are rapidly turning between the tariffs. Don't forget, we're now getting 25% on cars, 25% on aluminum, 25% on steel, and maybe more importantly, massive numbers of companies are moving into the United States. Honda, we have tremendous, the car companies are moving in at levels we've never seen before. The biggest investment ever made in the United States is being made right now. Trillions of dollars. I would say we could be at $9 trillion. You could go back to other presidents that haven't had $1 trillion for their entire term. Look at Biden. He had bad numbers. People leaving. They weren't coming in. They were leaving with Biden, and he didn't know the difference. The only thing he knew is people coming in. You know who they were? Illegal immigrants. Okay, from prisons, from mental institutions, from all sorts of places that weren't good, from gangs, from Venezuela. They were coming in and they were criminals and murderers. 11,888 people that...
Go eat Arturo's. They got really good food there. They got tamales, burritos, horchata. They got a wide variety of things I'm not even mentioning. They got good brown rice. That's all I eat from there. But they got other good things too there. And they've been in business for probably 30 or 40 years. So obviously they're doing something right. Go check them out. They're on Western and Armitage. Support local businesses that have been in business for over 30 years.
And murderers, 11,888 people that murdered, and at least half of them murdered more than one person. This is what Biden led into our country. I'm bringing in big companies. We have Apple is investing $500 billion. We have Jensen, as you know, is going to be 500, the biggest chip maker, or chip thinker, I call him. He's really a thinker more than a maker. But we also have the maker, Mr. Wei. I get to know them all from the last. It was a cram course, but they're all moving into America because of the tariffs. And I don't think people have appreciated it. Some people do, some of the smart people do. So we have more money coming in. It's really an amazing thing. We have more money being invested in the United States now than at any time ever before in our history, and it's not even close. And I think the real number could be 9 or 10 trillion. We don't know everybody that's doing it. We have many. I just heard about a plant that's being built right now, a very, very top of the line company, and they didn't come to the White House. They're just doing it because they're making it because if they build here, there are no tariffs. And this is the big market. This is the market that sets us apart from it. This is the market where everyone wants to be. Now, if I didn't come here and do this, all of a sudden we wouldn't be the market where everyone wants to be. So we're able to do it in time. But we're going to have a great announcement, and I'm not necessarily saying it's on trade. Going to the beginning, we're going to have a great announcement over the next few days, an announcement that will be so incredible, so positive. And I'm not saying I don't want you to think it's necessarily on trade. Just to finish, we also have a situation because everyone says, when are you going to sign deals? We don't have to sign deals. We can sign 25 deals right now, Howard, if we wanted. We don't have to sign deals. They have to sign deals with us. They want a piece of our market. We don't want a piece of their market. We don't care about their market. They want a piece of our market. So we can just sit down, and I'll do this at some point over the next 2 weeks. And I'll sit with Howard and Scott and with our great vice president who has done a really good job. We have some good news to report on a lot of fronts. But JD will be there and Marco, and we're going to sit down and we're going to put very fair numbers down. And we're going to say, here's what this country, what we want. And congratulations, we have a deal. And they'll either say, great, and they'll start shopping, or they'll say, not good, we're not going to do it. I said, that's okay, you don't have to shop. Now, we may think, well, they have a right, that maybe we were a little bit wrong, so we'll adjust it. And then you people will say, oh, it's so chaotic. No, we're flexible. But we'll sit down, and we'll, at some point, in some cases, we'll sign some deals. It's much less important than what I'm talking about. For the most part, we're just going to put down a number and say, this is what you're going to pay to shop. And it's going to be a very fair number. It'll be a low number. We're not looking to hurt countries. We want to help countries. We want to be friendly with countries. But you keep writing about deals. When are we going to sign one? It's very simple. We're going to say, in some cases, we want you to open up your country. In some cases, we want you to drop your tariffs. I mean, India, as an example, is one of the highest tariffs in the world. We're not going to put up with that. And they've agreed already to drop it. They'll drop it to nothing. They've already agreed. They would have never done that for anybody else but me. So we're going to put down some numbers, and we're going to say our country is open for business, and they're going to come in, and they're going to pay for the privilege of being able to shop in the United States of America. It's very simple. It's very simple. So I wish they'd keep, stop asking how many deals are you signing this week, because one day we'll come and we'll give you 100 deals, and they don't have to sign. All they have to do is say, oh, we'll start sending our ships right now to pick up whatever we want or to bring whatever we want. It's very, very simple. And I think my people haven't made it clear. We will sign some deals, but much bigger than that is we're going to put down the price that people are going to have to pay to shop in the United States. Think of us as a super luxury store, a store that has the goods. You're going to come and you're going to pay a price, and we're going to give you a very good price. We're going to make very good deals. And in some cases, we'll adjust. But that's where it is. And we've been ripped off by everybody for 50 years. And we're just not going to do that anymore. We can't do that. And we can't let any country do that to us. We're just not going to do it anymore.
Can you tell us a bit more about the deal?
No, it's not a deal. They've said, please don't bomb us anymore, and we're not going to attack your ships. It doesn't matter where I hear. The very good source. Very, very good source. Would you say, Marco? I would say pretty good, right, JD? A very good source. No, they don't want to be. They don't want to be bombed anymore. Sort of thought that would happen. You got to behind you.
Wow.
Oh, I just heard an accident. Truck stopping fast.
For what fact? No, it's fine. It's there. It's good. We use it for certain things. It's there. We have the USMCA is a good deal for everybody. I won't say this about Mark, but I didn't like his predecessor. I didn't like a person that worked. She was terrible, actually. She was a terrible person. And she really hurt that deal very badly because she tried to take advantage of the deal and she didn't get away with it. You know what I'm talking about. But so, you know, we had a bad relationship having to do with the fact that we disagreed with the way they viewed the deal. And we ended it. You know, we ended that relationship pretty much. The USMCA is great for all countries. It's good for all countries. We do have a negotiation coming up over the next year or so to adjust it or terminate it.
Mr. President, I'll say a word on USMCA if I may, Mr. President. It is a basis for a broader negotiation. Some things about it are going to have to change. And part of the way you've conducted these tariffs has taken advantage of existing aspects of USMCA. So it's going to have to change. There's other elements that are come, and that's part of what we're going to discuss.
During the campaign, Prime Minister Biden talked about the American nuclear bomb. How do you react if Canada decided not to shop in the American store as much as before and decided to partner with other countries?
Well, we don't do much business with Canada from our standpoint. They do a lot of business with us. We're at like 4%. And usually those things don't last very long. You know, we have great things, great product. The kind of product we sell, nobody else can sell, including military. Look, we make the best military equipment in the world. And Canada buys our military equipment, which we appreciate. But we make the best military equipment in the world by far. The missiles, the submarines, everything. Everything we have is really top notch. I rebuilt our military during our last term. Stupidly, we gave some away to Afghanistan, which shouldn't have happened. But that was, I think it was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. It was just very incompetent people. But if you look, the man that's now at the head of our Joint Chiefs, he led the attack on ISIS for me. That's why he's the head of the Joint Chiefs. And Raisin Kane, he was unbelievable. And as you know, we defeated ISIS in 3 weeks. It was supposed to take 5 years. We did it in 3 weeks. And he ran the campaign. I said, I like him. But I knew him before. I went to Iraq and we agreed to a plan, and that was the plan. And as you know, we did it in record time. So we have the best equipment in the world. We have the best, a lot of things. And but Canada does a lot more business with us than we do with Canada.
Mr. President, when do you think the investments that you've announced trillions will finally hit economic
How does it pick which person?
When you're saying about the tariffs?
No, about the investments that you've announced.
Oh, it's hitting right now. Look, they're already starting AI plants. These are not people that look for financing. That's a good thing. You know, in real estate, you get a site, then you have to look for financing. You have to get your zoning. You know, 5 years later, you start building. You get a bank, then the bank's no good. These people have massive amounts of cash. The CHIPS Act was a ridiculous thing because that doesn't get them to build. All we did is hand very wealthy companies money. The CHIPS Act that was done by Biden, billions. We give them billions of dollars. They don't even have to do anything with it. And then if you weren't, if you didn't have, and I don't want to be a wise guy, but if you didn't go with the DEI, if you didn't go with all of the different things woke, if you weren't woke, you couldn't even use the money. You had to have a certain percentage of this and that and that and that. It's impossible to have. The companies actually complained to me. They say they gave me all this money, but nobody can get these people to do anything. I mean, look, President Obama, and if he wanted help, I'd give him help because I'm a really good builder and I build on time, on budget. He's building his library in Chicago. It's a disaster.
What?
And he said something to the effect, I only want DEI, I only want woke. He wants woke people to build it. Well, he got woke people and they have massive cost overruns. The job is stopped. I don't know. It's a disaster. And I don't like that happening because I think it's bad for the presidency that a thing like that should happen. He's got a library that's a disaster. And he wanted to be very politically correct and he didn't use good, hard, tough, mean construction workers that I love, Marco. I love those construction workers. But he didn't want construction workers.
So in other words, he used a bunch of bitches to build it for construction. So the people Joe Biden has building his, the library, is a bunch of pussy-ass bitches, in other words, that are woke, probably like drag queens, dressed up like drag queens, building a building. Ugh, yeah. Fuck. Well, I finished hearing about Joe Biden's drag queen construction workers. Pussies.
With this four-season tent, you can get outside without sacrificing comfort or space. Multiple doors for
and the timeline for more details on getting this actually to implementation.
I can check in with our immigration and our policy team to get some more details on that, Karen.
Or is this something he wants to roll out soon? I mean, he was talking back and forth with Secretary Rollins. Right. This is kind of imminent that he wants to do this.
Yeah, look, the president is in constant communication with all of his cabinet secretaries, particularly Secretary Rollins, who has the backs of American farmers and ranchers. It's something that he spoke about with her in the front of all the cameras in the cabinet room, but I'll check in with...
Behind you, please.
Clarifying something you said on USMCA.
From what pact?
USMCA.
No, it's fine. It's there. It's good. We use it for certain things. It's there. We have the USMCA is a good deal for everybody.
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying about them cupcake workers.
And we've been ripped off by
China and any other country that sells shit to us. That's what we've been ripped off by. Why do we keep doing that? We'll finish that interview about Joe Biden's cupcake construction workers later. Like, subscribe, share, hit thumbs up.
we use it for certain things. It's there. We have the USMCA is a good deal for everybody. I won't say this about Mark, but bigger than that is we're going to put down the price that people are going to have to pay to shop in the United States. Think of us as a super luxury store. A store countries, we want to help countries. We want to be friendly with countries. But you keep writing about deals. When are we going to sign? One, it's very simple. We're going to say, in some cases, we want you to open up your country. In some cases, we want you to drop your tariffs. I mean, India, as an example, is one of the highest tariffs in the world. We're not going to put up with that. And they've agreed already to drop it. They'll drop it to nothing. They've already agreed. They would have never done that for anybody else but me. So we're going to put down some numbers and we're going to say our country is open for business. And they're going to come in and they're going to pay for the privilege of being able to shop in the United States of America. It's very simple. It's very simple. So I wish of our market.
We'll finish
We don't want a piece of their market. We don't care about their market. They want a piece of our market. So we can just sit down, and I'll do this at some point over the next 2 weeks, and I'll sit with Howard and Scott and with our great vice president who is